Hello everyone, this is Zebo, and there will be a story for Demonshire's Count Cloud. And if you consider the story of the character as a form of spoilers, then feel free to skip that part of the video as I timestamped it. If not, there won't be too much of a World 14 spoiler. I actually completed World 14 100%, and I'm gonna upload the videos when the patch for global server actually drop really soon next week, so stay tuned for that as well. And without further ado, let us start today's video. So Count Cloud is the governor of Demonshire, Priscilla's daddy as well as my father-in-law. So he achieved the seemingly impossible unity within the demon as well as vampire societies and united them under the Demonshire's banner. 500 years ago, after the Demon World's unification war, the vampires and demons, they actually had internal conflicts, and that's where Cloud stepped in. So he must be really powerful in order to achieve such a feat. And in today's video, let us run through how worthy is Demonshire's Count Cloud potentially. Cloud is a powerful being who have lived for a very long time, and to a point he can actually call Lilith a milk drinker, so that means that he's like super duper old, and he's a pure-blooded vampire born with great mana, and having lived for a super long period of time make him an apex of his species. And he married Iris, a noble demon family's daughter, and gave birth to Priscilla. So the union between these two actually strengthened his support within Demonshire, while also providing him with things, which is his family, to protect. So he's the author of the cookbook 100 Ways to Enjoy Blood, and this is a byproduct as he was researching for ways to feed Priscilla, who felt urges to drink blood but didn't like consuming it. Cloud's stats ranking based on level 86 heroes are 14 in terms of attack, 68 in terms of HP, and 93rd in terms of defense. So he does have a pretty low defensive stat, but his exclusive weapon is a gauntlet which will provide additional defense, so technically he won't be as paper as he seems. And in terms of his party buff is the omnipotent range damage plus 50% with a 5% shield increase on battle start as well as a 1% HP recovery on enemy kills. Cloud's normal attack, Crimson Fest, allows him to spray blood at the enemy and reduce dark type resistance by 20% for 2 seconds. So do take note that his normal attack cannot really pass through walls nor terrains except for the last bullet. So the last bullet is able to allow him to spray like a huge AoE of blood and deal more damage while being able to pass through walls, boxes, as well as like any obstacles in front of you. But the issue with Cloud is actually his recharge time takes quite a bit. So if he finish his normal attack bullet, you know, he'll have to take a bit of time to recharge. So that's one thing which I don't really like. And I think the inability to attack through wall is a pretty big hindrance, because there's quite a few arena maps where there's just a lot of obstacles all around, and even the boxers can actually block Cloud. But his damage output is actually pretty high, so he can hit really hard, but he can't really attack through walls. So there's a trade-off for him, and do take note if you want to use him in the arena. His chain skill is Corrupted Fuel, which deals 300% DPS damage, as well as increases allies' dark type attack by 20% for 10 seconds. So this makes him pretty decent in a dark range team, because his chain skill deals damage while buffing the whole team's dark type attack. So units such as Arabelle, units such as Mark 99 is very beneficial when you pair them together with Cloud. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why he's a really good PvE character as well. His special ability is Pure Lineage, which increases his damage dealt by 25% when his HP is above 50% and reduces damage taken by 25% when his HP is below 50%. So this ability is a little bit like Sohi, but also a bit different because it's a fixed value, not a fluctuating one. And so I would say that it's a hybrid between Mark 99 and Sohi in a way, because Mark 99 is also a fixed value based on the distance. So that's how you can look at Cloud. Basically like a dark type Mark 99 to a certain extent. Cloud's exclusive weapon boosts his attack, his crit chance, his defense, his HP, his weapon skill regen speed, as well as skill damage. So the normal attack, or when he's equipped with his exclusive weapon, his normal attack actually deals additional 50% of DPS damage once every 2 seconds. So you can see this as a Lin's injury damage, and it's not negated by injury negation card. So it's a pretty strong effect as well. And this exclusive weapon allows Cloud to restore HP of 50% of the damage dealt. So it's like a bit of lifesteal, but in general, it doesn't really compare as well to Camel, which is a HP percentage heal. So that's one thing to take note of, because damage scaling to HP is not as good as a fixed HP percentage. That's all I got to say. And other than that, right, the exclusive weapon also allows Cloud to lower the attack of enemies hit by the additional damage by 10%. So it's a similar ability to Priscilla. In a way, Cloud might not seem tanky, but he can survive decently well in a dogfight because he has damage reduction, he has attack reduction, and he has lifesteal. So if you want to do a 1v1 matchup, he's gonna go very well with a lot of heroes. But the major drawback is obviously his ability, or rather his inability, to attack through walls. So the exclusive weapon skill, Bloody Tempest, allows him to create a whirlwind of blood to deal 260% DPS damage. So this weapon skill is very similar to Coco. It renders him relatively immobile because you can't really run in the weapon skill. And yes, this weapon skill does have a very big AoE, but the CC percentage is calculated based on the distance from Cloud, the center of the skill, to the enemy. So the closer you are, the easier for you to crowd control your enemies, because you have a higher percentage CC, but you have to balance the risk and reward, because as I mentioned many times, he's not exactly the tankiest character. So it's a weapon skill that's pretty decent, but there's a bit of risk involved, because if you have to close into an enemy, chances are you're gonna get like hit pretty easily by their weapon skills as well. So that's one thing that I would like to point out. And for the weapon skill itself, one thing I would also like to point out is that it has this weird mechanics where the whirlpool actually is able to attack through terrains, right? But it cannot really attack downwards. So that's something which I found as I was testing him. So it's just a very minor mechanics, just for you guys to know. So in terms of Colosseum, like I mentioned earlier, he fits really well in your dark range teams. So he's a good partner with Arabelle, Noxia, as well as Ogma, which are all top tier Colosseum units. However, he's not that common in the ladder, because if you were to put him in the defensive setup, you're gonna get pierced by the Monolite team, right, which consists of Future Princess, Gabrielle, Mark 99, as well as Eleanor, which are just really strong Colosseum units as well. And a lot of people have Monolite teams, so the dark range teams, they are not bad, right? You can pair Arabelle with Cloud and you can win matches, but it's gonna be easily countered by Mark 99 comp, because Mark 99 is just another insane Colosseum unit as well. So that's just my take. Overall, a decent unit in Colosseum can be used definitely, but you have to take note of your bracket, your placing, as well as your team composition, because if you go mono dark, it's strong, but it's definitely gonna be countered by monolite teams. In terms of the arena side, I'll say that Cloud is probably a tier 2 or 2.5 or even 1.5 unit, depending on how well statted you are. His playstyle, like I mentioned earlier, is very similar to Mark 99. He relies a lot on his normal attack more than his weapon skill, although he's gonna chain more easily compared to Mark 99, but he's the type that tries to kill you as fast as possible before letting you chain off. So that's one thing to take note about Cloud. He's a very normal attack dependent unit, and he's one of the best counter you can have to Arena, because Arena's not gonna hurt him and he's gonna lifesteal back against Arena. So if you don't really like Arena, I think Cloud is a good range unit to develop, because he's a really good counter. But on certain maps with a ton of obstacles, it might be a little hard to make him like perform at his full potential. So there's always this drawback for him compared to units which are able to pass through walls. But nonetheless, he can definitely be used. He can definitely beat a bunch of units out there, but he's not the strongest arena unit you will find around. Now, since his playstyle is very similar to Mark 99, I don't really have much to showcase, because he's not really like a super flashy unit, a very normal attack based unit, so I'm not going to play the arena section. I'm just going to skip through it and go to the PvE discussion immediately after this. So in terms of PvE contents, I'll say that Claude is definitely a tier 1 unit, a top tier unit at that, because the party buff is very strong for guild raid. He can go very well in nearly any teams, and especially powerful in the dark range raid teams, right? With the dark resistance down, with the dark attack buff from his chain skill, the insane damage output that he can provide, his range party buff, and just everything about his kit which allows him to do a lot of damage. And other than that, in terms of the story contents, I say that his weapon skill has a very big AoE, so he can clear rooms very quickly as well, and he has a lot of damage. So units with a lot of damage will allow you to have a much easier time in a lot of contents. But do take note that if you want to compare him as a PvE to a PvP character, I'll say that Claude is more of a PvE unit, because if you're playing PvP, people will know how to play around his inability to attack through walls, so he's definitely a much stronger PvE unit compared to a PvP one. Below are some reasons to pull and invest in Demonshire's cow Claude. So how worthy is Claude potentially? Overall, a top tier PvE unit, and is definitely usable in PvP if you have the stats to make him work. So he's a good answer to one of the most meta arena unit, which is arena right now, and I'll say that he's decent all around, right? Really good in PvE, decent in arena can be counted there. So decent means balance in my opinion. So he's not a must have if you're just into PvP, because he doesn't fare very well in many maps, but his strength lies in his versatility. So if you want a unit that you can use in multiple game modes to a good degree, then Claude is definitely a good choice for you. And also, I'm not gonna spoil, but his story arc in World 14 is super amazing. So if you're a fan of what he did in World 14, then he will definitely be a must pull unit for you as well. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like and subscribe in order to see more videos from this channel, and check out the Zibo Gaming membership page to support the gaming channel in the long run. Let me know down in the comment section below if you will pull for Claude when he's released on the global server next Tuesday, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!